and you have to show the audience. How many of you know the top 5 to 7 ingredients in your dog's food? It was once easy to find dog food. You walked into your local pet store and you picked from the one of maybe 3 brands that they had available, and you took it home and you fed it to your dog. However, today there are literally hundreds of brands of dog foods, and the type of dog food that you choose to feed your dog will have lasting effects on their health and longevity. But where do you begin? There are certain benefits to each different type of dog food. The top 5 to 7 ingredients in your dog's food are crucial. There are specific foods available for dogs with allergies, and if your dog has any medical conditions, it's important to take these into consideration as well. The 4 main types of dog food are dry kibble, wet food, frozen raw, and freeze-dried. There are pros and cons to each type of dog food, and the type that you choose is largely up to you and your dog. Dry kibble, for instance, has a dental hygiene aspect to it. As your dog chews the harder kibble, it scrapes the tartar off of their teeth, therefore promoting dental hygiene longer into the dog's life. However, a lot of small dogs prefer wet food as it's softer and easier to chew. This is true for senior dogs as well. The nutrient levels in each type of food differs. With dry dog food, unfortunately, some of the nutrients are lost when the food is cooked. Freeze-dried and frozen raw have the highest level of nutrients, and in addition to that, freeze-dried dog food requires you to add water to it beforehand, which will increase your dog's hydration level. And that's important because unlike humans, dogs obtain 90% of their water intake from the food that they eat. Now that you've chosen a type, the next important thing to consider are the top 5 to 7 ingredients. These make up the majority of your dog's food, and the first and preferably second and third ingredients should be real meat. This means avoiding the word byproduct. Byproduct is basically like the feet, the legs, the wings, and the other unsavory parts of the animal that have little nutritional value and do nothing for your dog. You'll also want to avoid corn, wheat, and soy. As stated by Joshua Franks, manager of Wolfgang Bakery, these are inexpensive fillers with very little nutritional value and are difficult for dogs to digest. This is even more important to consider if your dog has allergies. According to Caesar's Way website, there are many types of foods available for dogs with allergies. However, it's important to know that in order to develop an allergy, your dog must first be exposed to the allergen. This means that if your dog has never had chicken in his entire life, he's probably not allergic to chicken. Corn, wheat, and soy are the main causes of allergies in dogs because they are most commonly found in dog foods. Therefore, your dog has had a higher chance of being exposed to them. Beef and chicken is the same way. They're the 2 most common types of meat found in dog foods. Therefore, most dogs with allergies do have allergies to beef and chicken. Limited ingredient dog foods are perfect for dogs with allergies. They have less ingredients in them, and therefore there's less for your dog to be allergic to. They also have uncommon meat sources, such as veal, venison, sometimes even alligator and kangaroo. The chances of your dog being exposed to these meats are significantly lower, which means that their chances for having an allergy to it are significantly lower. All of these things are even more important to consider if your dog has medical conditions. According to PetMD website, prescription dog food is not your only option. A lot of vets like to prescribe these foods, and while I'd like to point out that it's extremely important to always listen to your vet, a lot of these foods are low quality, meaning that they contain byproducts in corn, wheat, and soy, and they're expensive, and they don't actually contain any medication, which begs the question, why do they need a prescription? Many holistic and natural dog foods are available for dogs with medical conditions such as diabetes, renal and urinary tract issues, sensitive GI tracts, weight management problems, and many more. All of these foods are also very good for senior dogs. As dogs age, and sometimes if they have medical conditions, their organ systems have a harder time processing nutrients, especially protein. A lot of these foods are lower in protein for that reason, making it easier for your dog to process and digest. And in addition to that, a lot of them have higher glycosamine levels, which are good for senior dogs, and for dogs with arthritis and osteoporosis, as it promotes joint health. In conclusion, the 4 main points that we covered today will help you choose the right food for your dog. There are 4 main types of food: dry kibble, wet food, frozen raw, and freeze-dried. The top 5 to 7 ingredients are the most important to consider in your dog's food because they make up the majority of it. Dogs with allergies will especially need to be cognizant of the ingredients that are in the food, and limited ingredient dog foods are available for dogs with allergies and may help to eliminate or at least lessen the effects of the allergen in the food. The contents of the food are even more important to consider for dogs with medical conditions, especially looking at the protein content and the glycemic index. Much like a child, your dog depends on you to take care of him or her. Ensuring that your dog is getting the proper nutrients that they need is a small favor that we can do for them in order to repay them for the years of unconditional love that they give us. Thank you. You have to show the audience one more time.